Okay, there's a good one here, and I'm gonna explain why I like the next episode here. Also, watching the detectives. There's a whole thing about you have a crooked DA. Now the DA, yeah, then we start seeing a lot of familiar faces throughout the episodes from this one, starting all the way through. You have a crooked district attorney who, if you see the actor, the first thing you guys gonna say, when you see him is, whatever the red dot goes, you bang. Yes, that same guy. He's this dirty district attorney who's in bed with the mob, and he's doing this arson stuff where he's burning down buildings to get property or whatever, get land or some bullshit like that. And he hires this private investigator, which I think is one of my favorite characters in the show, amongst a lot of them, maybe because of the actress, Megan Lockhart, who's played by Joyce, I think, Heiser, if I got her name right, Joyce Heiser. But the name sounds familiar, because anybody remembers that movie, Just One of the Guys? She was in that movie. I always liked her. I was happy to see her. She had a recurring role. She comes back in 3 episodes. This is the first episode we see her in. Very funny, sexy as well, tough, sexy voice, So she's taking videos, and basically the district attorney has hired her to find out who the Flash really is. And she has a Sandra Bullock vibe to her. Maybe that's what I like about it. She reminds me of Sandra Bullock. From far away, I could swear she looked like Janine Triplehorn for some reason. Cause I kept thinking about the way Janine Triplehorn looked at Basic Instinct at times. But I think she's more talented, though. Not more talented than Sandra Bullock. Not that. Don't quote me on that. More talented than Janine Triplehorn, my humble opinion. Very underrated, this actress as well. So she ends up finding out who the Flash is, that is Barry. And she gives the information to the district attorney. District attorney shows up at Barry's house and decides to blackmail him and everything like that. And she finds out, and of course, Barry ends up confronting Megan Lockhart, and there's a setup. The district attorney wants to get rid of Megan Lockhart instead of paying her the money, and the Flash ends up saving her life. She keeps his secret, and then the district attorney says, "The only way you're gonna keep my secret is if you kill me." But what happens is the district attorney stepped on the other mob guy's toes. He gets in the car and explosion. So Megan Lockhart keeps his secret and leaves town and stuff. But then you get a good relationship between them, a good last minute sequence where Barry tries to kiss her. She goes, "But I'm not that kind of girl." And she goes, and he tells her, he has a good line. He tells her, but start now. And then you see the lightning bolt flash, and you hear, "Ow!" And she smacked the shit out of him. So that's a fun last shot there. So watching Detective, that's a good one. Now we get to, of course, Disc 3, Shroud of Death. This one is an interesting one. Alright, if all fits, Barry puts together bits of metal found at a crime scene and discovers they are from a neo-fascist group's medallion. But will that intel be enough to keep Lieutenant Garfield from being the group's next target? Now, Lieutenant Garfield, the cop who's the lead cop in the prison, is played by Mike Genovese. Now, we've seen him a lot of times in movies. He was on Showdown. He had a small part in Best of the Best 2. He was in Code of Silence. Another underrated actor. I think this the one episode they got him to shine a little bit and stuff. That there was this this neo-fascist group that Garfield, along with some judges and some people way back when, put him away and stuff, and the guy got the death penalty. But what happened is the guy's daughter, Angel, wants revenge and begins to target Lieutenant Garfield and everything like that. And Garfield gets to realize the Flash is on the good guy's side or whatever. Fun episode. That was a good one. Here's an interesting one over here. Episode 9, Ghost in the Machine. You have Anthony Stokes, who you guys remember him from Repossessed. He had a small part of License to Kill. He plays this villain from the 50s called the Ghost. The acting isn't all there, but what I like about the episode is we're introduced to a new superhero character. It turns out Century City had another superhero during the 50s called the Nightshade, who's the superhero was actually black, and I mean, it just surprised me because because you don't see too many superheroes in DC comics that are black besides Green Lantern, depending on which Green Lantern you got or whatever. So it's played by Jason Bernard, who I always remember from Herman's Head and stuff like that. And he did the Steve Martin movie from way back when. I remember All of Me. I always remember that one. And Jason Bernard plays this Dr. Desmond Powell, who's this, I guess, this psychiatrist in charge of this mental hospital. And way back when in the 50s, he was a superhero called Nightshade. And it opens up in black and white, in which you see the Ghost escapes by freezing himself. But he was supposed to get thawed out in 1999, but instead the computer fucked up and thawed him out in 1990. Comes out into the real world and tries to get back his gang together again to take over Central City. And Nightshade comes out of retirement with the help of the Flash, and they go get him. It's a good episode. You know, I liked the back and forth between Nightshade and the Flash. It's almost like a buddy thing. I liked that. Get in the car. I can't get in the car with you. I got an image to protect. So he runs, he drives out because, he's the Flash. He ain't gonna, why get in the car where you can run and stuff. And then a cool sequence there where he touches the electrical fence, and then Nightshade shows up. You see, you should have waited for me. I think you for not waiting. And so you get a good back and forth between them. So I liked that and everything like that. They became good friends, and he would come back in another episode again. So that's Ghost in the Machine. This one is Sight Unseen. Another good episode. Catch him if you can. A criminal who's developed cloaking device renders himself invisible and sets out on a deadly vendetta that endangers Star Labs and all Central City. Now, the guy who's playing this criminal that turns invisible is Christopher. I don't know if I got his name right. I think Nome. He's the bad guy from Street Knights. He's the bad guy in Steel Dawn, and plus he played the demonic bad guy in that Chuck Norris film Hellbound. Good actor. He plays this guy that he traps Tina and her uptight female boss in the Star Labs, and it's gonna run out of oxygen. So Barry's trying to get to her, and what happens is this guy who's cloaked is running around taking out these people, and they're like Christopher Nolan's character. And what happens is the reason he's taking these people out is because he had participated in this experiment that was led by the CIA. And the CIA is really the main villain of the episode. Because I like about Christopher Nolan is that he wasn't the real bad guy in this. That the Flash confronts him. He understands why he's doing what he's doing, but he wants him to help Tina get out of there and stuff. He wants his help. And the guy who's the CIA guy, you recognize this actor as well. He's from that Van Damme film, Death Warrant. He was kind of the mastermind behind that whole organ transplant bullshit or whatever was going on Death Warrant and stuff. And he played the partner of San Tak O on Death Wish 4. He was the guy that was trying to kill poor Kersey and stuff. So he played a good bad guy here that he did not want no help from Barry or nobody, and he wanted to kill the cloaked guy. And the cloaked guy knew a lot. The guy who was the cloak. I wish I got the character's name, but I've been watching all these episodes since fucking Sunday, so cut me some slack, folks. But that's a good episode. I like the Christopher Nolan being there and stuff. I'm not sure if the character died or he disappeared or what. I think the character was killed off. But before he dies, he gives Barry something. And he wanted that cloak device, and Barry smashed it up and everything for him with Flash. He ends up getting them out of there. So that's a good episode.